Good afternoon. I am here today with one of our interns who is a rather new but also not new. Could you please introduce yourself and just share a bit of background as to my suggestion of new but not new?
Okay. Good afternoon, AB. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Mm.
As you already know, I'm Kgopotso Maditse. So the reason why you say I'm new but not entirely new is because we met in December last year
Okay.
at a Software AG gala dinner, alumni dinner. Yeah, and I still don't know how you picked me, but I think maybe that will be revealed today. So I went to Rhodes, majored in information systems and management for my undergrad, and my postgrad did my postgrad in information systems. And I've been an intern at Software AG for about 7.5 months now. And 3 days ago, I joined you.
Okay. So it's part of the Software AG program, internship program.
Yes.
However, Software AG will took the 7 months to train you in all their products and tools, and obviously we'll get deeper into those. And then I think you have another, how many months with Matlala?
I think about 4 months or so.
4 to 12 months. And then obviously at that point, I must then make the decision to say, do we keep you, and what do we want you to also do? So we'll get into how you have found Matlala in your 3 days. However, now more interestingly is, so within Software AG, they have a number of products, they have a number of solutions. I know they cover integration as a portfolio of tools. They have low code to no code sort of software solutions. They have WebMethods, which is also something around business processes and that sort of thing. So unpack it for us who are not that technically inclined.
Okay, so I'll start with ERIS because that's the first one that we've dealt with, which essentially helps you map out your business processes within your business.
Okay.
Then their second very big product would be WebMethods, which has to do with integration.
Okay.
So if I had to make an example, if you, for instance, are a retailer, a big retailer, buying out smaller retailers that have different ways of doing things, if you want to integrate the systems and ensure that all your entities are following one system, you then make use of WebMethods to integrate all the systems into one standardized way of doing things.
Okay. So for those who are like me, who are not that technically inclined but very English in their explanation, so it's basically those that use different systems at the lower end continue using what they know, and then those, let's say the group company, so AB and Bev alcohol company, they keep on buying other smaller brewers. So when they buy the smaller brewer carries on using the systems they've always used.
The intention is to move away from the systems and make use of make use of something that is standardized by the bigger company, the parent group.
Okay. However, in the interim, they can carry on using what they always used, and then there'll be a product like WebMethods that then integrates or takes the data, puts it in a format that is consumable by the group,
Yes.
and then makes it available to the bigger group.
Yeah.
So I used to call it, from a architecture point of view, we used to say collect, transform, and then dispense to other systems. So you collect data from its original systems, transform it for the systems that want to consume, and then let the systems that need to consume. Then this ERIS thing that you speak of.
Okay, so in ERIS, there are two ways. Excuse me. In ERIS, there are two ways of mapping out your business processes.
Okay.
One of which is making use of an EPC, which is an event, entity price, no, excuse me, entity process chain.
Okay.
And the second one is the BPMN, which is the business process modeling and notation.
Okay.
Both of which map out your business processes, which are essentially your business activities that help you reach your strategic goals from end to end.
Okay.
The one difference, however, between the two is that with a BPMN, your activities are mapped out according to who does it.
Okay.
So, for instance, you've got a leave process.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your employee that sends in the request right at the top. But, well, you'd need a diagram to explain it properly. But the employee themselves are a pool on their own.
Okay.
And you come down, you've got a different pool, which is your HR department, that has different swim lanes. Each of these swim lanes represent the different parties that take place, or the different parties that have to conduct an action throughout the process. And you probably have got your HR manager, your HR administrator, potentially your line manager as well. And this then helps you depict who does what and at which point, where the information is coming from, if there are inputs and outputs required, and essentially the endpoint, which is that email that goes back to the employee to say that your leave has either been approved or it has been rejected.
Okay. And does it also provide, so let's say in Matlala we were using a particular process that is paper-based, not system-based. We were using this process to, let's say, onboard a new employee, order their laptops and all of these things. Does now your system one enable me to, does it question me enough to say, but why do you need this process? Maybe this is not a useful process. Does it do that, or is it just transferring my process that I've always had from paper into a digitized format?
I think the nice thing about being able to see something in diagram format is that you can actually see if there's redundancy within the process or not.
Okay.
So, and one of the big benefits behind BPMN and EPCs is that it helps you optimize costs within the business and time as well, because those are very important elements within the business. So being able to see it in that way, you can actually decipher if you need to change certain things to ensure that you are making the process more efficient at the end of the day.
Okay.
So I think if you actually sit down, drill down, look at the entire process, you'll possibly come up with different ways to change the system to make it work for you.
Okay. And is there any analytics that go into it in the back end and say, this process is it's similar, maybe a robot could take over this process versus having actors touching that process?
One of actually the major benefits of BPMN is to drive automation.
Okay.
So it is highly possible for you to actually realize that a specific process does not require human intervention. And a software or a robot can actually take over the entire process. And in that case, makes it more efficient and cost efficient as well.
Okay. So now that we've covered that we'll get deeper one day into the actual process and come up with use cases and explain it even cleaner and further. But right now it was more an introductory session of Kgopotso in Matlala, and also obviously the areas that now we are looking to grow in, which is the software AG, BPMN, and also that EC, is it? EPC, those two processes. So we'll have more people join the area that you're working in to grow deeper. Now you are here. How has your transition into this team been?
Well, at Software AG, there are like 10 interns.
Yep.
So walking into a space that has a lot more interns is quite overwhelming. But over time, obviously, as I get used to everyone else, it will become easier. But so far, the reception has been very well. Everyone has been kind. Everyone has been willing to help. So I really don't have any complaints.
Okay.
I'm happy.
And then are there any areas of growth that you've already started to see, or it's a wait and see?
Well, the past 3 days with doing the Google Professional Cloud Architect, it's been quite an eye-opener. It's just been 3 days, but I think I've absorbed a lot so far.
Okay. So part of the reason we would put you through cloud training is that one of the important aspects from where we sit from a Matlala point of view is that a lot of the solutions that are sitting at the top end, which is your BPM, your business processes, your integration aspects, sit on some sort of equipment. Now, the reason we would put you through anything around cloud or even infrastructure is that everything you're going to do sits on top of something. Now, you understanding what is the difference between on-prem, cloud, and all of those different notations enables you to provide your clients with a better solution. And this is why you would do cloud. So we would look at the cloud in as far as GCP, which is one of our go-to market strategy. Then we would look at other cloud vendors and see what is the difference in looking at software. Because I'm just not sure, but I do believe Software AG is in partnership with some of the cloud vendors that exist in the market space. So you're doing cloud. At some point, I will put you through security, which is how do I secure the data of my client? How so obviously you met a bunch more interns within the space. Is that obviously from my end, I see it as a lot more support, but obviously there are other dynamics that intimidate. Where you on that scale? Are you on the more support side or on the how do I deal?
I think it's more supportive than anything, because someone just came to me yesterday and they're like, oh, you're doing this. Oh, that stressed me out. This is how I tackled it. And I was grateful for that, because once again, it's a new program. It's a different environment. So having someone actually come up to you and tell you, I struggled with this, but this is how I handled it, that actually helped me a lot. So I just feel like all around there's just a lot of support in the room.
Okay. Which enables you to just get through it because someone has been through it before you.
And I mean, if you need someone to talk to about anything that's frustrating you at that point in time, you know that there are a couple of people in the room that you can speak to.
Okay. Any parting words?
I'm looking forward to spending the next few months here, or a very long time, but time will tell. I'm just happy, honestly, for the new experience, the new environment, meeting different people, learning from different people, just sharing ideas and seeing what we can come up with in the end.
Okay. Lovely introduction. We will have other sessions going forth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kgopotso.
Thank you for having me.